and welcome to the Serbian Parliament. Hello!
Good morning. We are in
San Francisco! No, just kidding. We're in Belgrade, but it feels like San Francisco because it's uphill, downhill, uphill, more uphill, more uphill.
We arrived last night after 6-hour train ride, which
It was more like 7.5.
7.5-hour train ride, which was really interesting. It was a really cultural experience because it was full of Serbians
that were playing all type of folkloric music.
Yes.
In the train. It was very entertaining.
So today we're going to do a tour of the city. We are starting here at the Temple of Saba. After that we will show you all of the highlights of the city and tell you a little bit about everything.
The struggle is real. It's too sunny for us to know what we're doing. Hello and welcome to the Serbian Parliament. We have learned, first of all, that in the past century this country has had many names, not no name, many names. Five names, yes. It has been the
Kingdom
of Yugoslavia. Then it has been Yugoslavia. Then smaller Yugoslavia. Then Serbia and Montenegro. And then since 2006, just Serbia.
We have learned that there's two statues in front of the parliament of a horse and a human fighting, and the horse is basically pushing down the human on the ground.
Fighting it.
And it's supposed to represent the fight between, or the struggle between humans and nature.
And
nature always wins, and that's why the horse is dominant on the humans.
The parliament actually has been there since 1935, has been standing there, and has been always the parliament of these 5 countries that we named. The same building for the same purpose, always.
Let's go to we're going to a monument.
Yes, to the First World War Memorial Monument. So actually, as you all know, the First World War started in Sarajevo when Franz Ferdinand was killed by a Serbian student. And of course the first thing the Austrians did was invade the capital of Serbia, which was Belgrade at the time. And actually the border between Serbia and Austria was between the Danube and the Sava River here. It was Serbia ended there, and then they invaded the city, not invited, I don't know how to speak. And then Serbians moved the capital to Nice, which is further down south. And they left a few soldiers right about on this street to hold the fort while the Austrians were coming so that the others could move down south. And those are the faces, I don't know if you can see them, of the generals that died holding the fort. This is what we've seen so far from Belgrade, and we will keep walking around and we will keep you posted. Irene, can you please tell us the story about your dish?
It's called a
Schnitzel.
And this was made by someone who didn't know what a schnitzel looked like, but was asked for a schnitzel, and then they just came up with this.
Perfect. Mine is a traditional Serbian cabbage dish.
We just had lunch.
It was yummy.
It was amazing.
Yes.
You probably just saw it, and if not, here it is. And we're just walking around now. We're gonna show you everything that we saw before on the tour. And here is the first thing that we've come across. This is a school where the first, I think it was the first basketball tournament or something like that took place. Because basketball is...
It's the country's sport. That's the thing that they are good at.
It's their national sport. And this pretty classical building was built by the first female architect. Serbian architect.
So we're now currently walking down the street, getting to the main cathedral of Belgrade. It's right across a building that is where all the patriarchs of the Orthodox Church live. There, afterwards, when they die, they are buried at the San Sava's cathedral that we church that we showed you before. Temple. But that's not what we're going to show you because it's not that. It's like.
The most important thing about this place is question mark.
A question.
What?
So, actually, this building was a gift from one of the patriarchs to the doctor, and the doctor decided to turn it into a tavern. And a few years later, when there was no empire anymore, the government was like, well, we don't like the name that it has, so you cannot name it for now. And then the owner was like, well, what should I name it? Because if you don't let me name it, what am I gonna do? And then he decided to call it question mark until they let him decide on a name. So afterwards, everybody found it funny, so they decided to give it a question mark. Thank you.
Is that a castle? Bird? Let's go and explore it.
We are currently at the Belgrade fortress.
The one that we showed before that we said we were gonna explore?
Yes, we are exploring it. So we told you before that Serbia has had over 5 different names in the past 100 years, but it has actually belonged over time, its whole time, to more than 10 different countries. It has been part of a Celtic city, it has been a Roman city, it has been a Slav city, and all the ones that I mentioned before. It has been part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, of the Ottoman Empire, so plenty. It has different faces. Actually, the fun fact, as I love them and cherish them, about this fortress is that it used to be a military base because of its strategic position. As you can see, it's in a higher point and it has a view over that part, which is New Belgrade. And because it's next to 2 rivers, the Danube and the Sava,
It's very protected.
It's very protected. And that dude over there,
A naked guy.
is our friend Victor. It's a statue that represents victory of the city of Belgrade, and it also symbolizes freedom because he's naked, and strength because he has a falcon, and because of the sword that is looking downwards, it means peace, that he looks over the Serbian people.
Cool.
That's that. So let's go inside and see what we find. So you know how I told you it was a military fortress and now a museum, and you didn't believe me? Yes. The big tanks are on the other side.
There they are, the big ass canyons, especially that one.
Okay, let's go. I want to show you some animals.
They've got some animals in this fortress as well, like a mini zoo.
Yes.
It's an endangered species.
Very endangered.
In
Oi, Irene.
okay.
Let me touch you a little bit. My face doesn't fit.
Yeah, it does. So what about those animals?
I think it's better if I just show you.
Can you hear them roar? Dino, seriously? It's a dinosaur park! They don't talk, they roar. Look at that!
They are feeling gassy.
Look at that beauty!
So after this prehistoric adventure, we are gonna go towards the city and show you the rest. That will be it for the beautiful trip.
Edurne, what's this?
We are at Terrazije Square. It was also known as Three Hotel Square because there are three hotels. You have the Moscow Hotel, you have the Casino Hotel, and right behind us is the Balkan Hotel, which is closed at the moment. This square is really important, firstly because it goes to the city center, and also because this building right here, the Hotel Moscow, it was really important during all times of recent history. It was not destroyed, and for example, during the Nazi occupation, it was the main base of the Nazis. That's one of the reasons why they didn't destroy it. The monument in the middle is, sorry, is actually for one of the main kings, not kings, but the rulers, dedicated to one of the rulers of the second dynasty of Serbia. You thought the fun facts were over? No. So I made it in a stop here because I really enjoyed the story about this market. Actually, it turns out that this was the main market of Belgrade when it was still, let me check this name because it's in Latin and it's very difficult for me to say, Zingidunum. That's how the city was called when the Romans were here. But also during the Ottoman Empire, it was also the main market, and it was called Bezistan, the city, since this was the main market over so many centuries and the trading place during socialism. They wanted to keep this as the main marketplace, and as a homage to the Roman times, they made that mosaic. I mean, they really tried to make it look very nice.
No, they said it was a replica
It was a replica
of a real Roman mosaic
yes,
from this place.
but the things around, they tried to make it look nice,
Ah, yes.
market-like, but
It
I
was
don't think they succeeded.
it was a bit of a fail. This is what it looks like now today.
But I really like that they appreciated that fact and tried to keep it that way.
Satisfied?
Moving on. A really nice boy just asked us what our YouTube channel was. It was so cute. He was really nice and wished us good luck with our channel.
So cute!
We appreciate it. Thank you. It motivates us.
Thank you for the good luck. We did it.
We are going to show them my favorite part of the city, which is we're going back to the parliament, but we're gonna show you the old and the new palace, and we're gonna tell you a super interesting story that made this trip worthwhile.
Edurne loves it when there's stories about people
Don't spoil it!
and palaces.
Okay, yes.
We made it to the palace.
This is there are actually two palaces in this square. We are actually in front of the parliament, and these are, well, this is current city hall, which is the old palace of Serbian kingdom, and then right behind there, you can't see it because of the trees, but we might walk there in a minute. There is the new palace,
And that's where the president lives.
And that's where the president, correct. So, why
Now-
are they called the old and the new palace? You start the story.
No, you started.
Okay. She's the
'Cause
best.
She loves this story. This is the favorite story that we told you about. It's gonna be about lasagna also, probably.
No, it's not about lasagna. For once, it's not about food. So, there are two main dynasties during the Serbian kingdom. So, the first one was ruling up until 1903. They were not very liked by the people here. The last king, Alexander, he married his waitress because he really liked her and decided that he wanted to marry her, and people didn't like it. Then
Because she was 13 years older than him, and she was not pretty.
apparently, she also faked her pregnancy, so people were like, that's not okay. You need to either marry another woman or you need to abdicate. So they gave him an ultimatum and he was like, you know what, no. And then the new dynasty, they went to this palace and were like, so what, are you gonna marry a new one or not? And he was like, no. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna shoot you. Bam, bam.
Dead.
They killed them and then they threw him
Out of the window!
out of the balcony, but
Bueno, out of the balcony.
and yeah, and then they became the new dynasty, and because they felt super guilty because they had killed the whole family, and they not only killed those two, they killed everybody in the palace. They created a new palace right there. We can go to the new palace.
Yeah, but basically they felt weird if they were just having, like, continuing using the palace where people had been killed and pushed out of the balcony, because, you know, ghosts. No, that's my take on the story, but they felt weird. So they decided to build another palace and then use it, and this one is just the town hall. Well, city hall.
Yes. So the mayor can live with the ghosts, and the president
Yeah.
gets a nice palace.
Yeah, that's what you get when you're major, you're low rank compared to the president, so you get the ghosts.
You get the ghosts. Actually, the second dynasty was very liked by the people here because they did a lot for democracy. Even though it was a kingdom, they did a lot for democracy and for the Serbian society to evolve.
Did you realize that we are finishing the tour
Yes,
right
we
where we started?
Oh!
We've come full circle.
Full circle. we
But
love
it's
it.
not over yet.
So this is the new palace where the president lives. This is the old palace where City Hall is. Serbian starter,
Serbian.
cooked beans with pork ribs, Serbian kebab, burnt and happy ireme. Yes! So one of the things that I like to play is Russian roulette with shot recommendations for after digestive, not shots. So I asked the waiter to give me whatever he likes to drink. So here we go.
It's a brandy, no?
Those are the worst. I think it's honey.
Ah, it's the honey one. The waiter was really insisting in the honey one.
Ah, yes. What is good? Yes, it's really good. Thank you. I like it. Irene, how was the food?
It was amazing, and the rest is in my bag.
From 1 to 10, I loved it 20. I can read everything!
Cyrillic!
Hello. Hello! We miss you already, food. Oh my god, look how burnt we are. Maybe it was too sunny in Belgrade. Now we're really going to bed and then tomorrow go to Macedonia. What will you do tomorrow?
Tomorrow I will go to Macedonia. with you?
Me?
Yes. That was Belgrade. We are staying here for one more day. Well, half a day. And we're gonna do a Red Belgrade tour, so a communist tour.
Yes.
And we're not gonna film it. We will just enjoy it. And if you want to know anything about it, if you want to know
How it was, what we learned.
if you want to do it yourself because you're coming to Belgrade, just let us know. Maybe we will include it in a blog post.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Just let us know what you want to know.
Exactly. And we hope you enjoyed Belgrade as much as we did. We highly recommend coming here because it is a great city that is still booming and growing and
Recovering.
And
yeah.
there's so much to learn about current history more than older history.
Yeah, and I feel like Belgrade is something that nobody thinks is like a touristic city, and
Yes.
actually it's a really nice place to come and just experience.
Yes,
Food
it
is
is.
amazing, people are great.
Yeah. So if you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe,
Subscribe.
And we see you on our next video, which probably will be in Macedonia.
Yes.
Bye!